Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Paul Jutmas, and today I'm going to tie a double hackle orange and yellow streamer fly. I've done a little bit of searching trying to see if anyone's been tying any of these double hackle flies where the hackle is run up the body of the fly and then made into the collar, and I haven't seen them. I've seen some where the body hackle might be different than the collar hackle. So if you do see a pattern like this, post me a note. I'd like to see it. So anyway, I'm going to do this on a size 12, 4x long streamer hook with a gold bead. And put this in my Anvil Atlas vise. I've done a review on this vise here on YouTube, so if you'd like to see it, you might check that out. When you put your hook in a true rotary vise and you're going to use rotary techniques, you want to make that hook as parallel, that hook shank as parallel to the tabletop as you can. Something I'm really not very good at. But there it is, it's in the vise. I'm going to take my ruler here and I'm going to see how close the rotation is, and that's very close. It should be. I've been tying these same hooks. If it wasn't, if I was getting a lot of wobble as it went around, I would move this collet, this barrel here, either up or down to smooth that out. But that's really good right there. I'm going to put weight on this fly, just a few wraps. I got some 0.025 lead here. And let me say something about my keeper. This is a great keeper. His name is Curtis Fry. He did a YouTube video of this, and I saw it. It's a 1/4 inch elastic with just a bead. I got a little metal bead in here, but he used plastic either way. And it's great. I got them on all my materials now, everything that I don't really use a bobbin for. So you just grab it and just kind of pull out a little more material just like that. It works just great. So I'm going to take about 3 turns on here, 3 or 4. One, two, three, 4. That'll do. Snap that off. Back here. Do the same thing, I hope. Okay. Now, a consideration when you're putting lead on your flies or putting weights on your fly is where you're putting that on the shank of your hook. If you put it near the eye, you're going to get more of a dipping and diving motion. If you put it more down the middle of your shank, you're going to get more of a swimming motion. So you want to consider that. So logically, if you just use a bead, you're going to get more of a dipping and diving as you retrieve. So I put those few wraps on. I'm going to put it up close to the bead, but I'm going to leave it back a little bit because I want my collar to sit in there nicely. Okay. Going to use some 6/0 unithread here. There we go, 6/0 unithread. And I've learned from watching some commercial fly tire videos to take the thread and wrap it around my index finger a few turns first before I get started. And that way, I can snap it off at the end. Okay, I'm going to capture my lead in here. I'm going to bring it up a little bit further. Further yet. There we go. When I get to the back here, I'm going to put in a few extra little wraps so I can snap it off. Just like that. And there we are. Now I got some black marabou I'm going to use. Right here. I'm going to peel off a pretty liberal chunk. They're kind of nice. What I do, I keep a little cup of water next to my flying station here. I like to just dampen those just a bit so I get a sense of how long they are, how they lie, and I can more easily measure it up against my hook. I don't think you can see it, but as my thread is spinning away, I give it a spin backwards, and that way, when you go to pull it up, it rolls back to your thumb. I'll explain that again in a second. Your tail should be about the length of the shank of your hook, right about there. I lay it a little bit towards me so that when I take my tightening wrap and it rolls up on the shank, it'll be more in place. So loose wrap, a little tighter. And then in this case, I'm just going to tie all those loose fibers down into the body and fill up that gap that was left by the lead I put in. So cinch those down. Fills in the body nicely. Okay. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a little bit of flash here. A little bit of flash goes a long ways when you get into deeper water with fish. After about 12 feet, the trout is unable to discern much color anymore, except white will still reflect well. So everything starts to appear black after about 12 feet. Even our famous and happy reds and greens and chartreuses. You might get a little bit further with some fluorescent colors. I'm just going to put in 2 pieces on a side here. Let's pull this back around, kind of leave a loop there. Give it a quick little wrap. Bring it back to the other side one more time, and we'll get a 4 on each side. Or 2 on each side, sorry, 4 total. Get rid of that. That. Okay. Now we're ready to tie in our hackles. And I've already prepared them. I've got one orange grizzly, one yellow grizzly. And what I've done on both of them is I've removed the barbs of the fibers there from the inside, exposing one half of the quill, one side of the quill. And I'm going to do that so that it lays in better in my chenille. You don't have to do that, but I think it lays in a little bit better. So now I'm matching these up so the quills are together. And I tried to select feathers that were closely of the same close shape. We'll just tie those in by the tips. And then get the chenille. And here's the chenille. Take my chenille. And I'm going to pull off those little bit of that in fuzz. Expose that core. And that's what I'm going to cinch down. I'm going to cinch down on the core. Little core fibers there. And that's going to increase the likelihood that the thread will take a good bite on it and it doesn't slip out. One of the beauties of the rotating vise is I don't have to measure and cut off a section. I leave the chenille on the card, on the steam there, and then when I get all done, there won't be any waste other than what's left at the very end of this card that isn't enough to use. So we'll cinch that down, run our thread all the way up to the eye, throw in a quick little half hitch, and then bring my bobbin rest around. Okay. Now we're going to use our rotating vise. First we have to dodge around the hook holder and the point of the hook, get underneath, and then up we go. Just a few quick turns. And there we are. We'll cinch that down. There we are. And clip off our sheet. Okay. Now again, another quick little half hitch here. Run it over to my bobbin rest. I'll take these two, We're going to kind of drag the feathers back a little bit, the barbs back. More action. Holding the two together. I'm going to sort of let them slip through my fingers as I rotate this up. Here we go. Kind of layering that in right into the chenille. Nice even turns. There we are, up to the front. Make a nice collar here. Okay. Let's capture both of those in. And one more. I'd like to do a little extra, as I am capturing two at one time here. And we'll get rid of those. There we go. Now, holding my fingers together, the first and second, and drag these back, the thumb and the second finger and the index finger. Pull those back so I can pull back the fibers. Kind of make a nice little neat flow there. Now, quick little whip finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like to do a couple ones. I do another like 3, just to kind of help lock that in. If you ever see the thread coming off of the head of your fly here, like where it ties into the hackle, this will give you a second stopping point. It'll keep that thread from completely unwinding. So there we have it, a double hackle, and I'm going to call this a Halloween fly unless I find out someone else has already done it. It's a yellow, an orange, and black woolly bugger. Some crystal flash, 2 on each side. And there we go. We'll take this out and fish it and see what we do. Thank you very much.